food first, and I'm saying fatty, fertile foods first. The more I have come to understand that carbohydrates, all of them, stimulate fat production, insulin and inflammation. That's primarily the cause for our metabolic disorders, PCOS, endometriosis, diabetes, and all the other chronic diseases. And infertility is just an inflammatory chronic disease. And the only way to reduce it is to cut out carbohydrates. The body requires fat and protein, and it doesn't require any carbohydrates. Wow, can that really be? Keto diet is meant to provide our calories from about 80% fat, about 15 to 20% protein, and so that leaves 0 to 5% carbs. What I see is that all the fruits and vegetables and grains and milk products that we eat actually again convert to glucose and then stimulate insulin. And that insulin creates inflammation. And so our glucose levels are chronically elevated. Today, one of our patients over the last few days has developed diabetes. He went unchecked. And high hemoglobin A1C, high glucose levels. The frustrating part is no one caught it, and it showed up. What I can tell is that inflammation from our food is killing us or severely debilitating us. It affects blood flow, affects our gut tremendously. If you read William Davis and David Perlmutter in Grain Brain and Wheat Belly, that's a good start to tell us how wheat and grains actually are toxic, and going gluten-free is one step for many people. But I think it's only the tip of the iceberg. And for all of us, we all have some inflammatory reactions to all carbohydrates. But we were really meant to have our children in our teens and early 20s, and so many women are postponing it for many reasons. Culturally, socially, it's natural now to have your children in your 30s and 40s. The toxic effects of glucose have set in. And it's that chronic glucose that finally gets us. It's like how the oxidative damage to the paint or the car, the metal, it's happening to our cells. And what's very interesting, the DNA damage, which is repairable by simply shifting our diet from a high carb to a high fat, which is opposite of what we've all been taught. So this is, I'm speaking it. It seems crazy. I thought, oh, come on, can't be. And all I can tell you is I've seen so many patients that have gone paleo and ketonic. And if you read these books, you'll get more information about it. But the brain functions best on ketone bodies. Beta-hydroxy butyric acid, acetoacetate, and acetone. Now, the ketone bodies actually, under normal conditions, don't go very high. And fat suppresses your appetite. We've been using intralipids, which is a fat emulsion made from soy oil, and it has some egg protein in there. It's one step, and we've been using it, seeing a tremendous amount of inflammation being reduced, increased pregnancy rates, reduced miscarriages. Right now, we're looking at alternative intralipids that have more MCT, coconut, fish oil, which we think are probably better for us. So rather than IV, why not start in your foods? Well, it's interesting because a couple of my patients only would become pregnant and deliver a baby or not miscarry if they were in ketosis. But if your history is many failed cycles, failed implantation and miscarriages, ketosis is the best. You can very interesting. So most of our couples or individuals have no abnormality that we can identify, or abnormalities that we can't tell you why they've happened. And I highly recommend all of us to go ketotic or paleo. And you'll find the sweet spot depending on what the abnormality is. But many men have poor morphology or motility or counts, and inflammation is the thing. And we're all looking for the test that says we have inflammation, but I'm telling you, everyone has it. And if they're eating a standard American diet, sad diet, they have it. And even if they're doing their best to stay paleo ketotic, you can always find something that they might think, oh, that's okay. Green beans, seeds and nuts, Brussels sprouts, and fruit, typical. It's going to cause inflammation. So I really highly recommend the guys jump into this. And as a couple, boy, it's always best to work on it together. And that I think is really, really, really critical. Interesting, you got to go through the cupboard and throw out all the garbage, all right? I call it the compost heap, all right? All that stuff we throw into compost heap, which breaks down, it's gaseous and hot and smelly. Oh, doesn't it make your gut go like this? We're putting a compost heap in our body every day. Fruit, vegetables, and fiber. You got to get rid of all that junk. And it's going to look really strange in your refrigerator. It's bacon, eggs, butter, and you want to get organic, grass-fed. And I've been listening a little bit to Dave Osprey in the Bulletproof Coffee Guy. I love his stuff. He's talked about his wife who's been using butter, organic, Kerrygold. There's all sorts of butters out there that she eats, gets pregnant in her 40s. And so there's so much out there, it's hard to know where to go. But we all should be working on this. It doesn't matter your age, and male or female, or attempting pregnancy or not. We get off that addictive stuff, we feel more vibrant and energized than ever before. And I've been amazed how at nearly 60, I don't exercise. I haven't exercised for 4 years. I'm near high school weight. My energy is amazing. I believe my brain function has improved tremendously. And my refrigerator is full of farm fresh, organic, wild, free-range chicken eggs, and whipping cream, butter, uncured or naturally cured smoked bacon. Again, that organic, and if it's pork or if it's going to be beef, and then ribeyes and salami and fatty cheeses are I think something that I really do a lot of it. Which is, again, like we go like, oh my God, no, I eat that fat, what's going to happen? I'm going to get fat. But it's the opposite. You eat fat, you're in bliss, and that baby wants fat. And this is where breast milk is full of fat, and babies get fat, but it also has a lot of lactose in order to get fat on. So if you cut those carbs, add the fat. Now, what's good fat? That's our other, like, what's bad fat and good fat? I feel like, undesirable again. And but it's saturated beef and pork. All right, let's add some avocado and coconut and MCT. But I think we try to do too many substitutes. Plant oils are like pressed into something, and I don't think that's good for us. So butter, and even if you're slicing it and eating it, it's amazing. And Maria Emmerich has some really great recipes in her Ketogenic Diet book with Jimmy Moore that I've been using, and I've been making this really fatty vanilla bean ice cream. And I make sure I modulate it a little bit and modify it, and it's whipping cream and butter and MCT oil and coconut oil and cocoa butter and then just eggs, and you don't need much else. Evening meals. And it's a very interesting thing that I've been doing my one massive meal a day. So I eat, you gorge a little bit, and then you rest, digest, then you become ketotic through the night, and by morning you're in ketosis. Don't ruin a good ketotic state by eating a piece of toast or some greens or fruit or banana or a bagel. If you really need it in the morning, do that egg omelet with bacon and a little bit of cream cheese. But I think it's best to go a little bit of bulletproof coffee, as Dave Osprey, where you add some MCT and some butter to your coffee and blend it. But I just take a little scoop of butter, put it in there, and stir it up. Wow, it really is good. We're working on sharing our secret book is a changin', and we have another secret book coming out where we're going to share more of what I have found and what our clients are getting pregnant on by changing it up. So I'm always saying, don't believe me, don't trust me. You got to do something different than what you've been doing in order to get a different outcome.